And what is going on, guys? You're listening to the Realest podcast, and welcome to NXT Takeover Brooklyn number 3. The results, our thoughts. What a really good pay-per-view, in my opinion. Kind of excelled or went past my expectations.
Yeah, I mean, it is surprising at this point. And NXT always puts on an excellent show. So, another great show. All the matches from top to bottom were amazing.
2 title changes, 3 total people debuting tonight. And some really good wrestling in between. I mean, where do we even start it? I don't know. I really don't. I think SummerSlam, I think the main roster is going to have themselves they're going to have themselves something to show up for. I thought, it honestly and truthfully felt like a WrestleMania. It really did. This felt like the big show for NXT. As always, joined by Andrew Bast. Man, what'd you take of tonight? Let's get into it, man.
Yeah, tonight, very exciting night. I mean, we already knew that it was going to be good going into it, but well beyond my expectations. I did pretty good tonight. I only called one match incorrectly, and that was the Asuka match.
Be honest,
I'm still shocked by that.
The fact that you got those right, I know for a fact you as soon as you got them right, you're thinking, well, I got them right. Whoa. I kind of went crazy with them.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it was funny, too, because on the pre-show, and I said when we were talking about Cien Almas and how that match was going to go, I said, you know what, he's going to win because of the distraction from his manager. And that's exactly what happened. I was like, well, holy shit. Here we go.
Yeah, it was good. I thought that was a very good wrestling match. I thought Gargano was good. Obviously I wish Gargano goes over there. But, after it happened, I didn't get mad. I wasn't upset. But after it happened, it was more of a, okay, you know what? This guy does deserve something because he's worked his ass off, and he does. And he has looked good. So, I didn't mind it.
Well, and it's like I said, too, and it honestly serves its purpose because they're trying to buy their time for when Tommaso Ciampa finally does come back.
Mm-hmm.
So, by doing this, you kind of extend that feud, keep him busy with something, kind of build him a little bit as a singles competitor. He'll probably get his revenge in next outing. And, it also, at the moment, it kind of cements Almas as a decent heel. It definitely helps him in his quest to expand himself.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And, we might as well get the elephant out of the room, right? So, on your screen, you see Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre did win the NXT Championship, but he was met by 2 people. 2 people debuted after the tag team match. Kyle O'Reilly, which Kyle O'Reilly actually debuted at an NXT TV taping a few weeks ago, facing Aleister Black and losing. And Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish also showed up a few weeks ago and lost as well. These 2 were former tag team champions. Beat up the tag team division. Again, another belt swapping. We have new tag team champions. Sanity is your new tag team champions. And that match surprised me. I think the only reason it surprised me is because there were some good high spots. Wasn't as technical as before. Which is okay, because not everybody's going to be that good. Then, go ahead.
Well, that match was amazing. I will go off on record and say that I was very impressed with Alexander Wolf. Mm-hmm. I thought he put on a hell of a show.
Okay.
I was more impressed with Alexander Wolf than I was with Eric Young.
Right. So they meet Drew McIntyre in the ring. This being Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. The crowd starts going nuts. You could see the camera looking over to the right toward the crowd a little bit away from the stage, and you see the crowd going nuts. I mean, unless you live under a rock, everybody knows Adam Cole signed with WWE this week, or it was official, and that he was in New York. So you see something going crazy. You're wondering what it is. In the back of your head, you know it's Adam Cole. Camera's looking at Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. Drew McIntyre turns around, and what do you know? Adam Cole, baby. And this is your first time, Andrew, if I'm not mistaken, seeing Adam Cole. And I know it wasn't a lot. It wasn't him wrestling. But what'd you think? I mean, I've been watching the guy for a while. I know some of our viewers have been watching him for a while also.
Well, see, I feel like that anybody listening to the podcast is probably gonna be mad with what I say next, but like it's like I just messaged you. I said, you know what? Like I could tell off the bat that this guy is somebody special, but like right then and there in that moment, all he reminded me of was Dolph Ziggler and HBK.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he had that look, and you know it's the same look that John Morrison had too. It's just he looks like one of those guys that. You know, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime competitor. And of course, he uses the super kick. You know, I'm almost sick and tired of super kick at this point.
I'm letting you know that is not his finish.
Okay, good. Because, like, I honestly think that the super kick is probably the most overused wrestling maneuver out there. I mean, like, it used to be, like, something special, and then, you know, everyone started using it now. I'm like, oh, crap, here we go, another super kick.
No, that's not his finisher. Michael Andrews says, Authors of Pain and Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. LMFAO for the day that this happens. AOP better, they won't get called up because AOP there's so much work needed.
Well, it's looking more like it's going to be a triple threat match at the next Takeover for those tag team championships.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is it looks like we could have a triple threat match at the next Takeover for the NXT championship. And this is the first time, if thinking about it, that we have somebody in a big name debut and immediately pick up the championship. Because when that championship is picked up, that means that's what they're going after.
Well, I think what happened tonight is extremely important because you mentioned it on the pre-show. In order for Bobby Roode to leave, you need to establish a very good heel. And right off the bat, you figure it out that Adam Cole is going to be taking the heel persona. And with his attack of
Bobby Fish,
of Drew McIntyre. Oh, I mean, with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly on Drew McIntyre. And like the question that needs to be asked now is, what is the capacity of this moment here? And what I mean by that is, we know that all three of them are going to debut as heels. That's already been established. Are these three going to form some sort of faction? Or is just like a one-time thing they kind of introduce themselves to the NXT universe?
If anybody is familiar with the ROH scene, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly were once a tag team. Adam Cole turned on Kyle O'Reilly, went on to become ROH champion, and then obviously Kyle O'Reilly beating Adam Cole, and then Adam Cole taking it back at Wrestle Kingdom. So it is very possible to see these guys become a faction. I wouldn't mind it because, as I said, and as you just mentioned, a heel is needed. Because as of right now, Bobby Roode is the only heel that in singles competition. Sanity, it seems like they're kind of in that middle ground. Especially with because AOP was obviously the heels. They were in the heel corner. So, you need that heel to step up. If they do start a faction, this does worry me because this means that there is now, at this point in time, that means we have two factions in NXT.
Right.
That's my only concern with it. Is can you have two factions and have it be good? Because don't forget when the original Nexus broke up, you had basically the original Nexus members go to SmackDown and try creating their own thing, and it didn't work out at all.
Yeah, and I think it's important. It's interesting because you said that that Sanity sort of appeared as neutral ground, and I got that vibe from them tonight. But Sanity, for the most part, they have been heel, and they have done very well as a heel faction. So to add another heel faction in there, and you know these groups are going to collide at some point after tonight. So that is very concerning on my behalf because I think that what they have going with Sanity is a really good thing, and I would hate to see them screw up this based off of this new faction that's coming out. Because the Sanity has a lot of potential to do something that WWE hasn't done in a long time, and that's have a dominant heel stable. And
But they're in all honesty, they're more like the Wyatts, and they're not the Wyatt family, but because the Wyatt family were just that creepy, brotherhood. As Insanity are the crazy people of the group that just want to cause chaos. So the more I think about it, you could have a faction and then have that brotherhood type thing. But I mean, it's very clear Adam Cole will come in as a heel, which is what he worked as in ROH, and he was very good at. He's very good at on the mic. I can't wait to see what the future holds. Me personally, I hate the first two tapings of NXT after Takeover because they're very stale and the storylines have to establish. So it's going to be a little bit because I think more than likely the next Takeover will be Survivor Series. So we'll see what the future holds.
I'll tell you what, though. They still have yet to announce if they're going to do an NXT takeover in Philly when the Royal Rumble comes around. Man, if I get that announcement that they're doing an NXT takeover, I will be there the night before the Royal Rumble. I'm already going to the Royal Rumble, and I'm making it well known, man. If they release information about a Philadelphia takeover, I am all in because you don't find wrestling like this anywhere else but NXT. I mean, other than in New Japan, I mean, that stuff's exciting too. But I mean, in terms of WWE, when it comes to great quality wrestling and great quality storytelling together, which is a rare commodity in this business, NXT seems to kind of take the cake with that. Even with matches that we are originally afraid of or are unsure of, they end up finding a way to prove you wrong in the end. And I like that about NXT. NXT, whatever Triple H is doing, whatever formula he has, it's so entertaining and it's so real that it really does make good on the wrestling fan and stays loyal to the wrestling fan.
Yeah. It really does. And, I can't wait. But let's talk more. We've already really covered Adam Cole. If anybody wants us to talk about it more, ask away in the comment section or in the chat. The night opens up with Johnny Gargano and Andrade Cien. It was a good technical match. It was. I think the angle of her throwing the shirt was good because it obviously proves that he's not over it. He's not over what Tommaso Ciampa did. And it's also good for them to do that to keep Ciampa in everybody's mind while he's injured.
Right. And that was the moment too. I saw her actually take out the shirt right before she threw it, and for a split second there, the camera messed up and you could see the shirt, and I was like, that's a DIY shirt. And it's I didn't even have to see any print or anything like that. I saw the blue and I knew instantly what it was. And then when she threw it at him, I was like, yeah, that's that shirt. And that was perfect storytelling because you knew that was what they were trying to do. They were trying to keep that feud fresh in your mind so that you don't forget about it.
Mm-hmm. Michael Andrews says Gargano versus Almas was a 4 out of 5, or a 4.5 star match out of 5.
I honestly would agree with that. That was one of my one of my favorite opening matches, honestly, since Dillinger Rude. Be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami gave me the New Japan feel. It really did. That was such a hard hitting match.
Oh my god, that finish, man. Whew. Dude, my
Oh,
dad walked in the room. My dad. A funny story. My dad walked in the room at that finish, and both of us at the same time were like, "Oh my god!"
I was with one of my buddies, and he straight up looks at it. Oh, and we're just like, watch this. It
Oh
looked painful.
man, I'll tell you what. I needed to go to the hospital after that kick. Man, my head was ringing.
Yeah, it wasn't a feel good kick, that's for sure.
Oh man. Oh man, that was just so good. Me and Alistair Black. There is something about this kid, and you know, I think if WWE Creative does right by him when he does get caught up by the main roster, I honestly feel like you have something special with him. I feel like that's what Baron Corbin was supposed to be like in the main roster, what Alistair Black is now. And I hope, at least for, his sake and for the company's sake, that they really don't ruin what they got with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Michael Andrews says Aleister Black versus Itami was a holy shit amazing. 4 out of 5.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, man. That was such a good match. It really was. And both of them have, or they have knowledge of being, heavy strikers. So you knew the match was going to be hard-hitting. And, man... Yeah, I was getting worried. I thought they were going to stop the match. I honestly did, because if you watch, halfway through the match, Aleister Black, I don't know if he broke his nose or something, or he probably didn't break it, but he nicked him really good, and
I think he might have broke it because if you notice, whenever he was in a headlock, because he was breathing out of his mouth, and I don't know if he was just trying to see if he could breathe out of his nose or if it was broken or not. But he stopped breathing out of his mouth, and you could tell he was trying to breathe out of his nose, and as he's doing that, he started getting purple. And that's when he started breathing out of his mouth again. Yeah, I've never had a broken nose, so I don't know, what happens if you do have a broken nose.
Yeah, but I mean, that's insane. He was legit busted open, and I was just I hope they really don't stop this match because it's really good.
Now, the tag team championship between Authors of Pain and Sanity. The first thing that happens, we saw a curveball when a tag was about to be made. And Eric Young jumps up and says, "Tag me in," which is a legal move, because they did say that it is legal. Since what's his name didn't get tagged in, or wasn't in the match yet, it was a legal move.
Huh. That surprises me, because I always thought that if the match is considered, if the match is already written in stone, says these are two competitors versus these two competitors, that's it. But you know what? With WWE, there's nothing that surprises me anymore. Plus, with the Freebird rule, I guess you can apply that to any type of tag team, even if it comes to just championships or not. So, but I was just surprised that they would substitute. And you know what? I'm glad that they did, because Alexander Wolf was absolutely amazing tonight. But I was surprised they kept Alexander Wolf in and exchanged Achillean Dane, which is their tank, for Eric Young.
I think, and I am more than likely I'm wrong here, but I think what went the thought process here is AOP are too big are huge guys, so they're more known for their beating up on the little guy. Well, when you have two tanks, and we've obviously have seen it already, because when they both fought, it was sloppy. It was sloppy, and it had me worried. So I think having Eric Young in there gave AOP the power of being able to to dominate like they usually do, because in reality, Sanity Sanity stole it. They got lucky. If we're being honest, they got lucky. So at the end of the day, I think it's a smart move because it makes AOP look better than having two powerhouses, and you don't have a what's his name on top. Sorry, I went blank there. You don't have Alexander Wolf look good, and I also think Killian Dane. I don't think Killian Dane is as good yet. As we said, the tag team division is in need of is hurting, and I think having EY do that helped. Now, before we continue, Milo Andrew says, Mania, a year from now, Alistair is going to be surrounded by people in black and red hoods. They will hold candles and sing the orchestra part of his theme. There should be someone reciting Latin script. You can't.
Well, honestly,
you can't do that because, for one, it's a screamo song, so you can't have 8 people going because it would be really weird.
Well, as funny as it is to kind of think about it, Aleister Black, in my mind, he's like the love child of Undertaker and Gangrel.
Yeah. He gives me a Gangrel feel.
He does. He really does.
No, but, through it all, what do you think of the tag team match? I think it surprised me, and I think with the high spots that it had toward the end is what won me the match. Or had the match, win over for me.
You know what, like, the tag team division has been absolutely impressive when it comes to NXT. And, there's always the matches that you kind of get concerned with, and part of it had to do with Authors of Pain most of the time. But again and again, no matter if Authors of Pain are involved or not, they always find a way to kind of entertain and, like, put on the clinic matches. You think about it. Going back as far as the Revival, when the Revival are out, every single match that they had was amazing. Then you had Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Every match that they did was amazing. And then now you have Authors of Pain, and when Authors of Pain won the championships, that was the one thing we were concerned with. We're like, compared to these other tag teams, how are they supposed to bring that excitement to the table? And I think Authors of Pain have proved kind of themselves in these last few months that they can keep up with the talent that are in NXT, especially the faster and younger guys that have more stamina and can kind of keep that tradition alive, to where if we're seeing the NXT championship or tag team championships on the line, we expect that that's probably going to be one of the matches of the night.
Well, let's be honest. If we look at it, every match at NXT should be amazing. Here's why. They're at the Performance Center. Everything's done in Orlando. So at the end of the day, these guys have months to prepare. So if they don't have a great match, that's on them. But I agree. Last thing we need to talk about, NXT Women's Championship. Asuka wins clean over Ember Moon. I think at the end of the day, it's a smart move. Because as I said earlier, Asuka losing hurts. And I don't think Asuka's in position to leave the women's division, because that's their only selling point with that division right now. There really isn't anything else there. Yes, you have Ember Moon, but what else do you have?
So I got an idea. Before, when Asuka won tonight, I pretty much said, that's it. If you're gonna have her get called up, it's time to strip her of the title, right? But I think I know where this is going, and it just really hit me. Obviously they're not gonna do this Ember Moon thing again. Ember Moon has had her second shot; she lost again. So I think this feud with Ember Moon is done. I'd be very surprised. I'd be very surprised if they decided to do something now. I mean, I could see them going at it again in the main roster in the future. But in terms of NXT and now, I think that chapter is closed. So I honestly think what they're going to do, if they're not going to have her, if they're not going to call her up to the main roster right away and have her get stripped of the championship, I have a feeling that the winner of the Mae Young Classic is going to challenge Asuka.
That's what I was about to say. Why
and
not
beat her.
have the winner of the Mae Young Classic do it?
Well, and you know what? That would be a very smart move because not only are you possibly bringing in a woman from around the world, from other companies and organizations, and kind of sparking this renewal into the women's revolution. But what better way to make an impact as a tournament winner than to come in and beat the undefeated Asuka and send her off to the main roster?
I think no matter what, a loss hurts her. I don't see who could beat her and how she'd recover from it.
Well, I mean, see, here's the thing, though. You bring her up to the main roster, who you're going to say is going to beat her other than Charlotte? I mean, it just doesn't... I mean, as much as I would love to see Sasha and Asuka, I don't know. It's like you said, who could beat Asuka other than Nia Jax? And Nia Jax has lost to her twice already. So it's like, it's not going to be Nia.
I don't know.
I don't know. This just in, Eva Marie comes back and beats Asuka 1, 2, 3.
Right. Well, actually, speaking of, Eva Marie had plates for her for a championship, so they planned on giving her the belt.
Man, what a turn of events, though, with her leaving. But yeah, I mean, like at the beginning of that match with the women's title, you see Ember Moon just sort of rush Asuka right away, and I was like, you know what? How pissed would you be on a scale of 1 to 10 if Asuka was defeated in under 3 minutes?
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened though because
hey, stranger things have happened. I mean, you can't say it wouldn't have happened. I mean, because in a world where Brock Lesnar was beaten in under a minute,
I would believe it if it was Ronda Rousey, not Ember Moon. I would 100% believe it if it was Ronda Rousey. But they wouldn't put Ronda Rousey on NXT television.
No.
So, I don't know. At the end of it all, I think I don't know who's going to beat Asuka. I think it's smart to keep her. I would keep her on until WrestleMania. I'd keep her as champ until then.
That's a long time from now, though.
Yeah, that'd be 2 years for her. But again, who are you gonna focus that division around? Ember Moon is good, but she's not as good as Asuka. It would be cool if someone from Japan goes to NXT to challenge Asuka. She could be Asuka's Brock Lesnar. I don't think there's any women from Japan that are that good though, as of right now.
I don't. I think we should all tune into the Mae Young Classic when it debuts, because
this week,
one of those. It's August 28th.
28th, so
it's gonna be. It's not gonna be like the Cruiserweight Classic where it's gonna take like 13 weeks to finish. Once they air the first initial episodes, it's gonna be like Netflix. You can go on and watch it.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, it's only like half of it for like you watch half and then the other half comes out another time. Which I think is the dumbest thing ever, if you want my opinion. I think they should have done it like the Cruiserweight Classic. Or have the finals go live. I'm not a fan of this. Oh, well, I can... Well, if I'm not if I really want to see what happens, I can just skip to this. And, if I'm wanting to be lazy, I could just skip. The finals SmackDown? What? Wow.
Well, I kind of really enjoyed the UK Championship format with how they did it, where they did it on a Saturday and a Sunday.
They're live. They're gonna the storytelling is gonna be like that. I already know that because I was watching a thing. I was watching something and they talked about it. So, but yeah, I don't know where they go with Asuka from here. We'll just see. We'll just have to see what happens. I think once Nikki Cross develops more, I think she's a great person to have in that role. But again, nobody's going to carry the torch for the NXT women as of right now. I don't think anybody is good enough to do that. And here's the thing, and it's not like each woman in that division hasn't been given an opportunity. It's just nobody, in my opinion, other than Ember Moon, nobody has picked the ball up and has balled out. I think Ember Moon has done great her 2 matches. I think we were upset with how the first one finished, and then obviously tonight it's sort of like, whoa, kind of crazy to think that she, lost clean.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Ember Moon really can't, carry the torch. It would have been, I don't know, it's kind of like Bayley before Bayley came, but the thing is, Asuka was there. Whenever Bayley won it from Sasha, everybody, I know for me, for example, I was still really new to NXT. I was sort of like, whoa, what's going to happen here? Can Bayley carry that torch? Because all she really has is Asuka, and that was also at the time where they had Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Dana Brooke was still there, Emma was sort of there. So, Michael Andrews says Bobby Roode be in good hands on the main roster, even if with Vince's creative control.
Well, I mean, here's where I'm concerned with Bobby Roode.
Where do you
and
put
it's not
him?
like I don't think that Bobby Roode is a great talent and that he doesn't deserve to be on the main roster. But yeah, that's the thing. Where do you put him? There's already a big roster of superstars on the main roster. I mean, honestly, if you're asking me where you put him on Raw. I mean, obviously, Brock Lesnar isn't going to be around forever.
I would say SmackDown.
Well, SmackDown's already got. I mean, unless we get another superstar shakeup, which is the rumor. As of right now, with the rosters as we have now, I put them on Raw because everybody is on SmackDown.
Well, let's be honest.
Shinsuke Nakamura, John Cena, Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal.
Well, Cena's scheduled
to
be. Well, Cena is still technically a quote-unquote free agent. He's actually scheduled to be on Raw pretty soon, if I'm not mistaken. But I think if you do put, with a huge surprise, everybody. I know this is going to be a huge surprise. What I'm about to say, Jinder Mahal's not getting over in India, so that belt's about to come off because the whole point of the Canadian-born Jinder Mahal was to get over in India and to get network subscriptions in India up. But it hasn't happened. So, obviously, you're more than likely not going to see Jinder Mahal beat Shinsuke Nakamura. If it happens, probably going to be in a little bit of a rant.
Well, it's a damn shame, though. I'm going to say that. I'm going to defend Jinder. I'm going to defend him. Everyone was pissed off when Jinder Mahal won the championship because they didn't think he deserved it. And you know what? He fucking proved every single one of those people wrong. He might not have been the best champion, but he put on a great performance as a WWE championship. Is it time for him to drop the title? Yes. But, I honestly think that people should give Jinder his just due because given the position he was kind of forced into, he took the ball and rolled with it. With the Singh brothers, modern day Maharaja gimmick, I honestly think that Jinder is the best he has been since he's ever come into the company. And I think he should be proud of himself for that, even if he's not getting the numbers up in India. I mean, I'm just going to go out on the record and say it.
I don't think... I think I've lost so much in him. I thought after he won, let's see what he can do. I don't think he's done anything. I think his feud with Randy Orton has been piss poor.
Well, that's not his fault. Let's get that out there. It's not his fault.
But, Michael...
That's SmackDown creative.
Michael, we'll get to your comment in just 1 second. I think if you put Bobby Roode there, you have, assuming Shinsuke wins, you could have some crazy matchup. I mean, because if the superstars shake up, and this is what I'm about to put Michael's comment in for. Michael asks, how do you guys feel seeing Angle and Bryan segment in the stands, Peyton Royce, Billy Kay, Noe Jose, and the others sitting there? I think it's them scouting. I think if anything, it gives you the hint that they're scouting out for a reason. something's about to happen. Because you've never seen that in any other takeover. So what that, in my opinion, does is kind of hints, okay, there could be a superstar shakeup and we could see some NXT stars moving up. And I think with like having Peyton Royce and all them talking to them, it's kind of like pleading their case, hey, you know, I'm ready to go up there, you know, pull me up, pull me up. So with that being said, AJ Styles is not going to be on SmackDown if there's another superstar shakeup.
No.
He's
They're
going to
be on the Raw. Yeah.
I could see Roman Reigns also going to SmackDown. I see some big changes happening. I could see AJ Styles being the United States champion going to SmackDown or Raw, and whoever ends up the Miz going back to SmackDown. Could easily see that happening. So with that being said, I think we could see once again Shinsuke Nakamura having some feuds and then turn around, and I would say around the Royal Rumble, Bobby Roode come back into the picture and say, hey, I want the title. I've beaten you before, not once, but twice, and I'll do it again. It's not like a huge moneymaker, but I think it would get by with SmackDown. And, you know, there will be those people that, oh, well, we've already seen it before, so I don't want to see it again. But the people that don't have the network or don't watch NXT haven't seen it.
Right. And that's a huge fan base, though. You got to admit. Like, I mean, you're talking about the kids and, like, the casual viewer.
Yes. So, we will obviously see what happens after that. But all in all, at the end of the day, I am going to say that this isn't the best takeover. It's far from it. I still, in my opinion, the best takeover that I have personally seen is without a doubt either the first Brooklyn or NXT Takeover Dallas. Those are my top two of all time. But I
think this one's definitely up there for me.
I think Orlando was better. I'm trying to remember Chicago because Chicago is sort of a blur. Okay, Chicago was good too. Chicago was good, but it was more of a filler than it was anything else.
I think Chicago was the one that we were concerned with going into it because the matches were.
You had Bobby Roode
not
off
exactly
against Hideo Itami, Tommaso Ciampa versus AOP in a ladder match. The women's match was Asuka versus Nikki Cross and what's her name?
Ruby Riott.
Ruby Riott. And I'm trying to remember the one-on-one matches. I don't remember the one-on-one matches. I don't.
Was it Eric Young and Roderick Strong?
Yes, and Roderick Strong went over.
Yeah.
And then there was one more. I don't think it was Aleister Black. Wait, was that his debut or was that Russ Orlando? I think Orlando was his debut.
I think you're right. I think it was Chicago.
No, I'm pretty sure. Hang on. We're looking it up because this is going to bother me. But I do think it was a good one.
I think, once again, you know, it sets the bar. So, you know, with NXT, it's not a surprise. It's not. But the main roster.
Oh my goodness! How could I have forgotten about this? Match of the year: Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate.
Oh my God! I loved Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate.
That match.
Anything with Pete Dunne.
That match made that pay-per-view amazing.
Oh yeah. Anything with Pete Dunne is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So, but before we do end this, do not forget tomorrow is SummerSlam. If you guys are looking to talk, have some predictions, sit around and listen to some good wrestling talk before SummerSlam, we will be live at 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 o'clock Central Time, and then 3 p.m. Mountain Time. So, Michael Andrews says an awesome but cringe faction could be called the Hardcorettes of NXT, containing Ember Moon, Asuka, Ruby Riott, Nikki Cross. No. But we will be live with our predictions of SummerSlam. 13 matches tomorrow. It's going to be a long day.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to have a good time, have some friends over, watch some wrestling. And then following SummerSlam, we will be live with our thoughts. If it's like last year's SummerSlam, we're either going to be really depressed and talking a lot of bad things about it. We'll also be live Monday with a Monday Night Raw review immediately following Monday Night Raw. We'll be live. And then Tuesday, obviously, is a SmackDown Live review. Immediately following SmackDown, we'll be live, giving our thoughts on it. And then on from there. If you are just joining us, the big points of tonight's show, 2 title changes. Drew McIntyre wins the NXT Championship. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, all debut at their first takeover. We have new tag team champions. Sanity beats Authors of Pain. Asuka retains against Ember Moon clean. Aleister Black beats Hideo Itami. And Andrade Cien almost beats Johnny Gargano with the help of his manager. So with that being said, and until tomorrow, I got 4 words for you guys, and then we can go.
Out of the baby!